that's on this call, but everyone is under Nicole and James's lineage as well. And then is also my lineage as well. So we have many, many layers of support. And one of my most favorite things about the work that we get to do is the connection and the community that we get to create together. So, whether you have the same direct upline or maybe your sidelines on this team, we all get to be in community together and learn about each other and learn about each other's visions and how we're supporting one another to get closer to that sovereignty in our own lives and to provide that for our communities too. So, that's kind of my favorite part of this whole business is these kinds of calls right here where we all get to really lean in and create those deep friendships. So what I'd love to do at first is if each person on the call, if you could just take about 2 minutes, we've got 10 of us, so we'll take about 20 minutes or so to just share, why did you say yes to Purium? Why are you here? And what is it that you're creating with this? And then we'll go from there, and then you can all kind of hear the passion behind each person. So um, we can start and order from Nicole, James, and down, or just random if you feel whoever feels inspired to go first.
I can go first. Okay. So thank you for having this call. So grateful to be here. So what got me into Purium is really not what kept me in Purium, to be honest with you. So I went in with, intentions of getting my health better, and I knew I wanted to do a brand partnership. But the way that things have evolved to the point of my community is so expanded. So that has been a huge blessing. And so with that, I want to continue to build a massive health-focused, family-oriented community here in Southwest Florida. I want to, of course, impact many, many lives. So my goal is to impact at least 200 people personally this year with my Purium business and customer-wise. As well as I would like to impact at least another 10 people as far as brand partners go this year to help them transform their health and their wealth and their family. My goal is to hit diamond for this month, and we want to hit crown for the year, right? So by the end of the year, hit crown and be the first six-figure income earner in my family. So, and being able to do that while, expanding the time that I have with my kids, being able to travel, take my family places like Italy that we've always wanted to go together. So my why is continue to transform as things have grown.
Beautiful, Renee. And I so appreciate the clarity in what you're trying to achieve and like the numerical stance of it. And also, thank you for sharing with the team your goals for this year too, in terms of how it relates to Purium. So glad you're here and excited to support you. Who would like to go next?
I'll go next. So the reason I started Purium and what excites me about it is seeing like profound changes happen in my family, specifically with my youngest daughter. She has a lot of sensory issues, and like one of the biggest ones that we fought for a long time was alleviated like almost instantly, getting on Epigenius Family. So that encouraged me to like I really thought I was just going to be offering these superfoods at my market table, but it's really turned into so much more, especially like Renee said, the community aspect of this has been huge for me. I love all my friends, but this is like everything for me, like the passion of helping others and bringing to light like why food is so important and that food is medicine and like doing it with people. It's like I have a job I actually like. So it's turned into a lot more. And I also am running for Diamond this month. And I definitely need to learn a little bit more about the business. I've been kind of just gung ho selling and sharing, mostly actually overselling. I'm just sharing, but I would like to go as far as I can, or as far as like I think Crown is one of the top ones. I don't know how far it goes. I don't know. I saw somebody was a 5-star Crown. Is that the top? So yeah, I would like to get to Crown. I don't know if it'll be this year, but I will definitely put it out there for sure. Oh, Royal Crown, like that. But I think I answered everything. I'm excited to just be here and be with like-minded people. That's huge for me. That's really, really one of the best things that's come from this. I enjoy like getting on here and talking with everybody. I guess mostly because other than that, I hang out with my kids. But
Yeah, and you may have heard me say this, Justine, but really building a business here with Purium is building a community. Like you just get to build the community you want to see around you and the community you want to engage with, and it happens to be a mutually reciprocal financial health benefit as well.
yeah,
So,
and bringing people that I've like talked to in the past about, how they can help themselves and like bringing them actual solutions. Like this has been a game changer in that aspect. I've been, begging my family, juice, 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 and nobody would do it, but they were doing Purium, and I'm so grateful because everybody's like feeling better for sure.
beautiful. Who would like to go next?
I'll go. All right. So I said yes to being a brand partner with Purium, because to me there was just no other better way of getting like really high nutritionally dense food. Like I saw the benefits just, working with it on a daily basis and incorporating it into my lifestyle, and just like how much easier it made my mornings in particular, and just yeah, life. Like, yeah, I've just seen how efficient the lifestyle is. And yeah, I feel like it's something that a lot of people don't know that they need in order to just function better. And for myself, I've noticed just, yeah, it's really awesome for my mental health, my emotional health. Um, the past 4 months, like doing sales, like it's shown me a lot about what I really value and who I consider, important in my life. So yeah, it's been really positive for me. So I'm really excited to keep going with it. I was supposed to have my first table on Saturday, but I got really sick. So I was unable to attend. So that really sucked, but I rescheduled it for the end of the month. So I'm really looking forward, yeah, to that. Because yeah, I'm like so ready to just get more in-person events. Like it's like bursting out of my seams online. I'm just like, why aren't you guys buying it? Like I just need to get out and like talk to people because I know it's so awesome and can only do so much online. So I'm excited.
Cool, Abby. Well, sorry you got sick, and I'm glad you have Purium to support you. And I just love hearing all the little wins and the excitement for the growth that's to come. And I hear you in like a beginner's mindset and open to the learning. So I love that. So glad you're here.
Thanks.
Who would like to go next?
Yay, we'll go next. Thanks, ladies, for showing up there. And yeah, our why originally was the answer to our prayers, and I think Purium still is that. I don't think it still is that to this very day. And prayer changes, but it's still, I want my kids to have the best. I want them to be, as stress-free as possible in their human life. And I know that I'm supporting it with Purium. And literally we've been going through, because we're all doing the cleanse right now. So we go through 10 shakes a day on a minimum in the 12, house, 10 to 12. And we are just flying through the shakes. And right now, thank goodness for Cheryl, we met up with her and was able to get another pack today because we have our local team going. But, it means so much to me now. I mean, and it was in the community aspect too in the beginning. I remember when we were going through that big state of grief, when Mary Beth brought us our basket of hope, our little basket of nutrition with Purium. And yeah, the supplements were great. And yes, the shakes were great. And the ability to have an income because nobody was coming into our brick and mortar and we were financially struggling. And I've always financially struggled. I grew up in a poverty environment. But the community, like the Purium community didn't even know me and literally held me in the darkest time of my life and like literally pulled me up. Oof, I could cry. And so I know that when I bring it to people that it has that potential to do the same thing. And that right there is really a lot. That means a lot to me. So that's my why, because I could be answering someone's prayers. with this opportunity in whatever facet serves them most. And then for my children, that's the biggest thing. I grew up with lack everything, and I don't think we need to live in that mindset. And I certainly don't want my children to. So, and I don't want anyone's children to. So that's another fuel to my fire. You want to add anything?
Yeah, it's really beautiful how the whys do change. I'm starting to see that now, especially these last 6 months. But obviously, yeah, I mean, community was always so big to us, and we started having kids, and then things we went through different locations and different communities, and there was a part where we were just like, it's just too hard. Like, let's just be in our little bubble and really focus on our kids, and that's our main why. And I feel like now we're getting to the point. Well, obviously, Kaya's 15 now, so they're getting pretty old, and getting more independent. But now seeing like we're getting to that point now. We are in that place now where our why is back to like spreading out again. Being able to reach others and create that community again and find that community again. And really, in a lot of ways, for the first time, we all have friends and family. We love them forever, but we're not always seeing eye to eye. We're not always lifting each other up. And that's what's so beautiful about the Purium community is we all have the same intention. We're all so different, but it's to, support ourselves, our families, and to help others. And we have this vehicle that's just in front of us, given to us, laid out for us with all these resources. And we all want to see everybody on this call wants to see us all do the best we can. And us running for Diamond and really getting this team, like, I know you guys are grateful for us, but you can't even understand how grateful we are for you guys. Like, you really see how you can only succeed together. So the why is evolving, and now it's including our team and everyone else. Really see like, wow, look at those points transfer into sales, transfer into thousands of power shake bags and supplements that people are consuming all over the country and wherever. So that really translates into doing a lot of good for a lot of people. So
Yeah, beautiful. You have me all teary-eyed, James, because the levels of gratitude that get to be developed amongst the team is really powerful and impactful and life-changing. So thank you for bringing that forward. And I'm so grateful for you all as well. All right, who would like to go next?
I can go.
Yay. Oh, oh no, we
Is that working okay?
Yep.
Can you hear me now? Um, oh my. So I am 10 days in of starting this transformation. And it was the strangest thing. Through some mutual people, I came across Justine and some of the stuff that she was posting online. And boy, when I saw this parasite reel, I was like, wait a minute, wait a minute. My whole world just stopped. And I'm like, need to know. Like, I need to know what's going on. I've never had a good digestive system. I know that's part of it. So speak to me. And, there was no pushiness. It was all so organic how everything just melded. And she's like, oh, take a call. And then there's Nicole. And then it's like, oh, we're having a little gather at Nicole's house. And when I left there, because my package was so backlogged from, the holiday, that she set me up, and she set us up with some product to get started. And I was like overwhelmed at first, and then I'm like, wait a minute, this is easy. Then we got our package, and yeah, it's exciting. I've gotten to the point now. I start my parasite cleanse tomorrow, so I don't know why I'm nervous, but I know it's going to be fine. um I was just initially at first, I'm like, well, I feel pretty good. A couple days in, I'm like, yeah, this is good. But I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to sell this. I mean, like, oh, maybe we'll get enough sales to be able to cover, what we're buying, and maybe, get, another ULT, and we'll just see where it goes. Oh my God, I'm 10 days in. I want to tell the whole world about it. I made one or two posts, and I've got one friend who I haven't seen since like the early 2000s, moved out to Oregon. She's, into all this organic stuff, and her daughter actually sells Thrive, and she's like, it made her really sick. So when I sent her the video, she's just all interested. And I mean, there's just stuff, but I mean, up until maybe an hour and a half ago, she'd been texting me almost all day. So this is super excited to reconnect. And, I know that she's going to purchase something. It may not be a full ULT at first, but I think I also messaged her daughter, was like, oh, I don't know if you remember me back in like 2000, and try to, bring back this moment and explain some of this stuff and sent her the video. So I don't know if she's seen it, but I'm kind of hoping that that's going to stir something up. And well, I haven't seen myself this excited. And I'm like, instead of saying I want to sell, I want to help more people. If I'm feeling this good, there's so many other people. And they're like, well, it's expensive. Well, yeah, well, I can't afford not to do it. And then there's the mindset. And at first, honestly, I am on disability. That's my income. I was scared to give up my social security number for the business. But wait a minute, what's causing me to be scared? Do I need to be scared? Because if this is working for me, like it's going to work for all of you, I don't need to be scared. I don't need to be worried that financially we're going to be okay and we're going to get healthy and make other people healthy along the way. So that's my story 10 days in. Anything?
Yay.
First day in for me. So I don't have I have some expectations. I want to get healthy and whatnot, and probably slowly work the business. I'm going to put just to start off. I got to get used to the products, and if I can get as excited as her, then it will be a powerful team, I bet.
Yeah. Well, I love that you guys are on this call together and just feeling it out. And Cheryl, I love your excitement. And it just goes to show the power of how perspective can change in 10 days. We only know what we know until we know more, and it continues to unfold. And so, my biggest tip of advice is just continue to lean into that excitement. One of my favorite aspects of this business has been being able to rekindle those relationships that I hadn't talked to someone in so long, or they weren't really a part of my life, and now they're like one of my best friends. And it's really fun and it is exciting, and just keep, in that intention of, wow, this is an opportunity to help people. I always think of it kind of like when you read a good book and it changes your life and you just want to share that with everyone. And some people read it, some people don't, and you just keep sharing. So I'm so excited for you and your journey. And one thing that I can share that may resonate is, some of you may or may not know this, but 6 years ago when I started the business, I was on welfare as a single mom. And there was a point when I was hitting Green Diamond where I was going to be kicked off of Medicaid because of my income. And I had a moment of like real scaredness. And I actually stayed at that rank for a little while because of that fear of like, well, what if I don't get passed? And I had a huge breaking point in my understanding of what I'm capable of and what I'm here to do and the legacy I'm here to create. And Renee, like you, be the first six-figure earner in my family. And when I was able to let that go and move through it, I totally blew the lid off of what I even thought was possible. And so sometimes in this business, we find we are sometimes our best worst enemy, if you will, because of the mindset, because of the programming, because of the past experiences. And if we lean into the opportunity of growth, and if we lean into the excitement and kind of move out of our own way in some ways, it's pretty incredible what can happen. So really glad you guys are here and excited to support you.
And our second package is on his way, different from the whole ULT.
All
So excited.
right. Some diversity of product. Fantastic. Cool. All right. Who wants to go next? And we do want to hear from all of you. It's a safe space.
Yeah, Dale, do you want to hop on?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to deny your unmute. Just got home. My son's been wanting asparagus for a couple nights and it took him forever. So anyway, All right, I'm Jordan. I am under Justine and Nicole. And my why is initially for my son. I've been on this healing journey for him for 6.5 years, and I feel like we've tried everything. I have gone and gotten my own like certificate for regenerative detoxification, just to like learn everything for myself and make sure I'm doing everything that I could to help him heal. And while we have seen a lot of healing, the complete healing hasn't happened for him yet. And we are, let's see, he started a little after me. I want to say he's probably like day 20 now. He's doing fabulous. He's come out of his shell. Nicole's had several or a couple of superfood gatherings, and he actually wanted to go. He participated. He wasn't in my armpit hiding the whole time. And then today at homeschool meetup, not only did he want to go to that, that was his first he's been to. He actually stood up in front of everybody and talked. So huge wins, and he's sleeping through the night. He's doing absolutely incredible. I feel amazing. So I guess my why is changing as I see the healing. Like I want to help. I mean, anyone who's willing to heal, but really to help people who are searching for healing for their kids, because it is, it's, yeah, having been there, having a child with health conditions can be like overwhelming and, I mean, I guess sometimes debilitating in some ways. You don't want to put yourself out there, and, yeah, so I want other people to experience that for their children and for their families. So, yes, that's all.
Oh, that's beautiful, Jordan. And
Thank you.
congratulations on such a crazily successful first month. I know that that was a little unexpected for you too, just kind of jumping in and see what happens. So,
Yeah.
and
I
congratulations for
It's been a
running.
long time since I've been excited about a product. We've tried a lot, it's been a long time, so we've gone through quite a bit, and just looking into the company and the products, like I'll be honest, I was excited. And my friends who have been on a long healing journey for their children are like, "What is happening?" Like because we all are reserved. We're like, "We'll just try it and see." And no, I'm like, "This is it." So I don't know if it's me mentally like helping the healing process or what, but yes, thank you.
Awesome. Really beautiful to witness. Who haven't we heard from yet? I'm looking through here.
I'll go.
Hi,
Dave.
Gail.
Hey. Well, my Purium journey started. Hello. My Purium journey started about 4 years ago. I was introduced to the products. To me, it gave me a platform to move in a different direction with my health, more aggressively to have a healthier life. Um, but over the 4 years, I never really got into the business side of things, and I'm still not as aggressive as I probably need to be because I have a lot of things going on. But I would always do a ULT every now and then when I felt like I needed to be centered, when I felt like I needed to, make some changes. And what I like about it is that it's given me the simplicity to move forward in different directions that I've wanted to. The products itself speak for themselves. Um, the things that it's helped me with is, some digestive issues. Not that I had anything major going on, but it really did help me out to regulate my digestive system in ways that nothing else has ever been able to do so. Um, I also would get this skin rash sometimes, and I think it had to do with my nervous system. I played softball years ago, and I slid in the home plate, and I got this injury, and I think that injury triggered something in my nervous system, and I attribute Purium to helping to heal that. And also, what I like about these products, it's not just the physical thing, the physical side of things. It's also a mind body connection because I feel like when you're doing I call it a cleanse, but this is food. But when you're doing, the ULT or any of the products that work for you, it allows your body to function optimally. And when you pump it full of the nutrition that you're getting, you know, the way your mind feels, your spirituality feels. I tell everybody that within 3 to 7 days, be looking out for a spiritual high. That's what I kind of receive from it. But now, if it's your first time doing it, you might get a little grumpy with certain things. You know, maybe the parasites are trying to bounce around your body a little bit within the 10-day cleanse, and that's okay. Just kind of work through that if that's a problem for you. I had a person recently that bought the ULT, and they called me up. They was like, "Man, I'm so damn grumpy." I'm like, "Well, your grumpy ass needs to chill out and just go with the flow. And but we laughed about it, but I'm a little more sensitive than that. But you help people, you guide them. But yeah, so, and Renee is and Nicole are who I'm under. They're really cool. They keep me on my toes. They really do. I see the opportunity here, and sometimes we're just a little bit busy, but I guess we all make time for things we're passionate about. So there's really no excuses. But anyway, thanks for listening to me. That's kind of my story in a nutshell. There's other details, but I don't want to take up too much time. So.
Yeah, thanks, Dale. And I will
Yeah.
say, even though you're only doing the business kind of in and out right now, like I see you in all the pictures for the superfood socials that everyone's doing,
Yeah.
being involved in the community. And the beauty of this business is it's always here for us. In my 6-year journey, there's been times where I've been running for a goal and like really dug in. And then there's other times where I'm like, you know what? My family and I are going to Mexico for 3 weeks and we're going to be kind of one foot in, one foot out. And that's the beauty of the business is it's always here for us at whatever capacity we're able to in the moment. And I will say, I actually look for busy people to join my team because busy people often know how to prioritize, how to be efficient, how to get things done. And so, that's something that we can lean into and grow into if not. And also, it is a business that's meant to be worked on part-time hours. By no means do you need to have a full 40 hours to start bringing in some income. So keep leaning in, keep showing up, and it's really nice to see you so involved in the community.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
And
Um,
Jan? Yeah,
yeah,
Jan.
Janet, are you in a space? I know you're off camera. Are you able to share? Are you driving or something?
Jordan, do you want to say something?
Yeah, if Janet's not able to share, that's okay. Listening is great. But Jordan, if you do want to just welcome her or say a little bit about, um,
Yeah, I will. That's my mom. I'm super happy to have her on my team. I'm really looking forward to it. It's definitely out of her comfort zone. It was out of my comfort zone as well, but after experiencing just, the energetic shift, like Dale said, um, it feels so good. And someone even mentioned at Nicole's superfood gathering, like about every little cell in my body is happy. And that's truly how it feels. So I'm looking forward to my mom getting her products. And I think it will, she's always had a heart to helping people and good intentions. So I think once she tries the products, it's going to push her out of her comfort zone all on its own. Um, so yeah, I don't know if she's cooking dinner right now or not, but um, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing what comes to for her. She's wanting to travel um, and like I said, help other people. So that's her whys.
awesome. And I love having family on the team. My mom was my very first brand partner and customer because I was basically like,
Am I
"Ma, you
frozen?
gotta try this and support me, okay?" And it's ended up working out really well for her because through my sister and I partnering in this business and growing a large organization, we've actually been able to retire my mom now, which was our dream. We watched her work her whole life so hard for us and kind of barely make ends meet. And so we've been able to fulfill that dream of really retiring our mom through residual income and just she gets to spend time with the grandkids and she shares Purium little here and there, but really her passion is in organic and regenerative gardening and being part of the team in another way. So it's really fun what can be created here when we open the door to friends and family and people we don't even know yet. So Um, I'm gonna share a little bit. Thank you all so much for sharing, and hopefully you feel a little bit more connected to one another and kind of get the bigger sense of what we're creating here. Because on the very front level, right, we sell superfoods, right? It's kind of the very first dimensional layer of what we're doing. But as you start to integrate into this business and the community and the team, you really start to see the unraveling and the whole life transformation that's available here to us in terms of the community that we get to be a part of, the environmental impact, the positive impact we get to make, helping people get more aligned with their passion and their core values and their intention and how they're making money and what they're doing to make money. And so I encourage all of you to take, some inspiration from these different stories you're hearing and recognize the diversity of people that are drawn to this mission. And whether it's for physical means or financial means or community means or to have more passion, or all of the above. And as you're having conversations with people, I encourage you to just really listen to people and listen for the ways that people are seeking solutions in these different ways. Maybe it's on a physical level. Maybe it's that they're really lacking community. That was part of my journey as a single mom when I started. I just kind of had isolated myself and was looking for community. Whether they're, have some big financial goals or are looking for additional streams of income, or whether they're just really looking to be connected to something that more deeply aligns them with their passion. So there's so many ways that we can serve people with Purium. And sometimes we may think it's just, on the first dimensional, buy superfoods from me, which is great, And if we take the time to inquire a little bit more in our conversations that we're having, we get to learn more deeply what it is that people are really excited about and what they're really creating. And when you start to get into those kinds of conversations, that's where the team and the community starts to get built. The residual income starts to come in, and the impact, like the true impact, really starts to come that you're making and that you're helping other people make. So, I just want to share a little bit of my story for those of you that haven't heard it. I started Purium 6 years ago as a single mom on welfare, like I was saying, and I was in a 2 year long immigration process with my husband trying to bring him over from another country. And my son was 13 months when I found Purium. And at the time, I was very emotionally depleted. I was financially depleted from the immigration process. I was spiritually depleted because, not being able to see my partner for so long and him not meeting his son yet was really challenging. I was saying I kind of isolated myself, and I'd kind of gotten to a point where I've always had a passion for helping people. I've always had a passion for serving people with nutritional education and knowledge. But I kind of got to a point where I was like, does it even matter? Like who's listening anyway? And Purium came in a moment, Nicole, much like you, where it was an answered prayer. Like I was literally praying for something to, shift my mindset, to help me feel passionate again, to help me bring in income, to help me pour into what I care about doing. And so when Purium came in as that answered prayer, I really just ran with it. And within 3 months of starting my Purium business, that was the extra financial income I needed to actually be able to bring my husband over and finalize the immigration process. So because of Purium, my son was able to meet his father when he was 16 months old. And ever since then, Purium has been all about uniting families, fighting for the families, creating sovereignty for the families. And we now have 3 children. And we've really created that freedom lifestyle here where, we homeschool, we travel a lot. My husband's a musician, so we get to go on the road with him as he does his artistry, and we share Purium all along the way. And we've really just turned our life around 360 from also living in a lot of that poverty consciousness and just not really reaching my full capacity. And then Purium came in, and I really leaned in, and I really leaned into the community. I leaned into the support. I leaned into the growth that's available here, both on a personal level and a financial level. And it just became something so that I couldn't even imagine. Like I had a vision of where I wanted to be in about 5 years, and I can tell you that I'm living that exact vision now, and even more so. So the power of holding a vision of what you're creating here is really powerful because you may find yourself in a moment where you're like, wow, I've done that. And now what else can I do? And who else can I bring along with me to create that? So what I see my role in Purium is now, yes, I'm very passionate about health. I always have been, but what really lights me up in this business is helping individuals fulfill their visions and their dreams, whether it's paying their monthly product back each month so they can have the supply of nutrition, or it's, more grandiose in terms of creating financial freedom and all these things and everything in between. And so that's the true gift of Purium that I see, that it can be a vehicle for any individual to really attain what it is they're searching to attain. And Purium can be a catalyst, it can be a vehicle, and it can be a purposeful way to do it. Um, so, in saying that, what really excites me is this month, Nicole and James are running for a rank called Green Diamond. And as you heard, there's quite a few other people that are running for Diamond and Fast Start goals. And the beauty of working as a team is that each and every person's effort goes to this goal, whether it's a small effort or a large effort. And so just knowing that when you're out there sharing Purium with people, it's not just about the why you're creating and the people that you're serving immediately, but it's also about the team that you're supporting to create their visions. And, it always takes someone to lead the way. So Nicole and James have hugely stepped out of their comfort zones and leaned into the growth to be able to, create this pathway of hitting diamond, moving to green diamond, which is opening the door for all of you to do the same. So as you bring on teammates, as you're part of this team, just know that all the collective efforts are really amounting to something huge and beautiful, and it's the gift that pays it forward. So you pay it forward to your upline, and then your downline comes and pays it forward to you, and it becomes this hugely reciprocal process of people on all different levels being able to achieve all different sizes of dreams. So I just wanted to share that you know it's super impactful what we're doing. And it is it's all interconnected, whether, you feel like you're just out there making one sale, like it's so much bigger than that. And as you come into these team calls and lean into the community here, you'll really start to embrace and embody that. So, I just wanted to share that. And Nicole, and James, I wanted to see, is there anything more specifically that you would like me to use this time to dive into? And or I would also love to answer some specific questions from all of you that you may have, whether it's no matter what part of your journey you're in. So, Nicole and James, I'll let you take
Yeah.
it from here.
If anything, I feel like what our team can really use is some more cohesion around like the goals, reaching the goals. Like, some people see the vision, some people don't know the vision, some people are just sharing and it's just happening. But I feel like when you're present, Mary Beth, that you paint the picture really clearly for us all to know kind of like where we have to go next. And so I know that I've had onboarding calls, and most of us are plugged in except for Janet, so bless me there. But we've had that, and I'm practicing, like James and I are practicing in our leadership, but I would just really love if you would just, plant the seeds of the power of three, or just like tips on how you've gotten to where you've gotten, right? And how that grace can like flow upon us too, so we can hit the ranks that we're going for. Like two running, maybe Jordan's running for Diamond too. I didn't necessarily hear her say that on this call, but I've heard her say it before. And I totally think she's capable of it. And yeah, Abby Rose hitting director this month was definitely a goal as well. And just knowing that I'm supporting them and I'm here, but I feel like if you could plant some wisdom there, that would be really great.
Yeah. Well, so first and foremost, what's been so supportive for me is continually revisiting my why. And I think before you even start reaching out and start that process, that's part of what we're doing on this call is like revisiting your why and hearing other people's whys that maybe pull something more deeply out in your why. And I approach every conversation and every seed I plant from that space of why am I doing this? What is my intention? And you'll hear this a lot in this business that we encourage people to hold a very high intention with a low attachment. So the intention is the why. The high intention is how you're going out there sharing your excitement, Cheryl. How Abby, you're going out there and just leaning into the growth. Like the high intention is how you're presenting yourself as you move through and you're sharing. And then the low attachment is not being attached to who says yes, who says no for right now, because timing is everything. And in my experience, it takes 5 to 7 times reach outs, follow ups to really like get people understanding what is going on here. So the fortune is in the follow up. I will say that. And there's a statistic out there that says, people who are part of direct sales, the amount of sales that they make if they only reach out 3 times or follow up 3 times is quite low. I can't remember the exact, but if they would have just followed up and reached out maybe a fourth time, a fifth time, re-engaged in the relationship a sixth time, the increase in the percentage of sales and long-term sustainability is like way higher. And so a lot of times in this business, we're again kind of getting in our own way of what we're really here to do, which is to serve people and hold space for them and let them know, like, if they're excited and now's not the right time, that's okay, but we're going to be here and hold that space for them when they are ready. And so the idea of where you're all at in your businesses, no matter what your goals are, it's just going out and planting a lot of seeds and just sharing with excitement and doing it on multiple different platforms, in person, at events, on social media, via email, newsletter, whatever, in the grocery store. You wouldn't believe how many conversations I've started in the grocery store line. Um, so it's just a matter of like planting a lot of seeds and really embodying and learning how to share your story, learning how to share in an authentic, genuine way, learning how to ask questions, learning how to engage in other people's lives and listen for their pain points so that you can offer the solution that most speaks to them, right? If that's what they're desiring. So first and foremost, it's just go out and plant a lot of seeds. I remember when I was first starting, my mentor said, make a list of 200. Like, Mary, I hear your goals, make a list of 200. And in this month, I want to see that you've reached out to all of them, whether it's a, hey, how's it going? We haven't chatted in a long time. Like, I just want to re-engage the relationship, see what's up for you, and not have that attachment, whether it leads to Purium or not. Maybe they'll refer me to someone that it does, but re-engaging in relationships, because that's number one, what this business is. It's a relationship business. So holding the relationship at the forefront. And then some people that I reached out to was much more direct in terms of, hey, I thought of you because, you're one of the most inspiring people I know. And I've recently joined a community where I'm working with a lot of inspiring individuals. And I've been thinking about how can I bring more inspiring people in my life into this community? And you immediately came to mind. Like, I'm curious if you might have 15 minutes to chat about what I'm doing and see if, it might align with you. If not, no worries, but I'd love to catch up and just, you know, talk about this. Or, hey, I thought of you because I know a couple months ago we were talking about health and, that we were both had bigger health goals for the new year. And I'm reaching out because I wanted to let you know I'm starting my very first parasite cleanse and it's scary and, it's something unknown to me. And then you immediately came to mind as like, wow, maybe this could be in alignment with, helping you achieve those goals we were talking about too. Would love to chat if it's of interest. So it's just about planting seeds, the I thought of you because messages. And in order to get into this rhythm of three that we talk about, it means that you have to be planting a lot more seeds than 3 seeds a week. So if you're going to have 3 people a week using your gift code card to enroll in a 90-day transformation with you, most likely you're going to be having to plant many more seeds than 3 because some will be a no for now, some will be, yeah, I'm excited now, some will be 4 months down the road. You don't know, right? So plant a lot of seeds and then aim for this rhythm of 3, where my goal and my intention is always every Saturday, because that's the start of our business week. I wake up and I set a huge prayer of like, who are the 3 people that are calling this in, that are praying for this, that I can serve this week, whether it's on a business side or a transformation side. And then sometimes in my prayers, like random names will come to me, like the name Anna, and I'll look at my phone and I have like six Annas, and I'm like, all right, I guess I'm reaching out to all these Annas and seeing, which one it is, or, so just staying curious with the process. But if each person can get into this rhythm of three, including yourself and then the teammates you bring on, all of a sudden this whole team and your whole team comes into massive momentum of three people a week. Your first week, Cheryl, I know you're about on day 10, but if you bring in three people next week, you will be, really close to hitting the next $400 bonus. And then let's say you bring in three people week 3 and 4, you'll get $1,000 bonus. So it's this idea of like serving three people a week, every person's doing it, and then the teammates on your team are doing it. And all of a sudden we're making fast start bonuses. Everybody's hitting what we call UBT, which is 500 extra points a week. Those are all going up. And all of a sudden you have this beautiful rhythm in a team where everyone's serving three people a week and it's creating massive momentum and massive growth and massive impact on individuals' lives. So it can look many different ways, but that rhythm of three is probably the most easeful and graceful way for a team to get on board together in like a cyclical manner that's leading to growth month after month after month after month. And many of you I know are leveraging transformation now, which is a huge part of that too. So encouraging people to have those three packs on hand so that, when you do an event, you have product there for the person that's ready to get started. Cheryl, kind of like these guys, they were able to hand you one when yours wasn't in yet, right? So also duplicating that transformation now so people can hold these in-person events, can have product on hand is another huge way of duplicating success and growth in the team. And then also helping people more immediately serve their communities. So there's more I could say on that, but I don't want to like. um, so does anyone have questions or need clarity around that? Yeah, Cheryl.
Okay, I'm going to bring this a different way. And if it's not applicable for this meeting, just tell me. And I'm pretty open to this. But as I was going through my booklet, now I don't know if you've seen the animals running back and forth on a lap this entire time, but my entire history has been working with animals. And, my granddaughter's 10, my kids are grown. And sure, getting them on there. But I noticed the epigenus dog and the epigenus cat. So looking at this from a different viewpoint in a way where it's not necessarily helping the humans, but there wasn't a lot of information. So if that's something I want just to kind of, it takes it another avenue, I guess, or a different road. What is the best way to do that or find out more information about that? Because I know with cat stuff in particular, if it's, I've worked with animals my entire life, if it's not some sort of beef flavor or something like, are they going to even eat it? So anyways, I'm babbling. So help me
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, in my experience, I don't think I've heard one story where the cat or the dog doesn't like it because you just mix it in the food. And man, the stories coming out of like dogs being able to decrease, what do you call like lymph nodes or potential tumors and things. And my one friend, she has her cat on it, and this cat, she's like, it's my superfood cat. Every time I give her it, she's just like so much energy and like amazing. And so, yes, one thing that's beautiful about this business is to take what you're passionate about and run with it. So if the animals are what you're passionate about, I would encourage you, like every time you're talking to a friend about the transformation and doing the transformation with you, well, do you have a dog or a cat too? Because like my animals are on the transformation with us. We could get your animals on it too with us. And so that's like always adding that into the conversation. And in terms of information, we have blogs on it from puriumbusiness.com. If you go to the Million Mom Movement YouTube, there have been, hour-long conversations where Dave is talking about the benefit of epigenous cats and epigenous dogs. Even our product education calls on Wednesdays, there's replays of him. So you can actually go into Purium Business and search, epigenous dogs, cats, and those replays will pop up. So the real beauty of the product is mainly it's the biomimetic formula with the healthy fruits and vegetables and other things that help their skin and their hair and all of that. And what I've studied and found out is that cats and dogs are actually way more exposed to glyphosate than we are because of the pads of their feet, right? And they're running on the grass, and then they're actually bringing that into our home. And we may eat all organic, but now it's all throughout our home, and we're touching wherever they sat, and we're touching our face, and all of a sudden we're getting, the glyphosate as well. So it is really, I love to talk about like it's a whole family lifestyle, and this absolutely includes our animals. And then one other tip I would give for you, Cheryl, is I was attending a pretty large network marketing conference that's really well known. It's called GoPro. And they had a woman on there who was making really, really good money. And she said the whole way that she built her team was she was going into different Facebook groups and really like finding groups where people not only were passionate about dogs and cats, but like the specific kind of dog that she had, right? And I can't remember, it was some unique name. And she got in there and oh, and she started making all these friends with people who had that same kind of dog, and they shared this passion. And then they became friends, and they were so passionate about this thing that it then became really easy for her to open up the conversation about this other thing she's really passionate about and how it relates to the animals, right? And so getting creative in the networks that you're speaking to, because again, this is all relationship building. So figure out like, what are you really passionate about? And how can you connect and meet other people that are really passionate about that same thing? And you can start building that trust and that rapport. And you know that you'll vibe with them because you have similarities. And then open the door to, since we have this passion, I'd love to share with you something else I'm passionate about, and it has to do with our cats and our dogs and their health. Like, would that be something you'd want to chat about or learn about, right? So it's not going to happen overnight like that, but over time, you can start building these beautiful relationships, and then you're really following. That's why I say this is a business that can help you more truly, deeply ignite your passion. Because if you direct it in the way that you are passionate about, it can open up all these doors to how you're moving through life with that passion. Does that make sense?
That makes a lot of sense. And it's funny when you said the breed. I mean, we have all hairless animals.
There
Well,
you
other
go.
than
I bet you there's a
we have
Facebook
one.
group.
Oh, I'm also I'm yes, I'm all over it. We have one 19-and-a-half-year-old cat that's doing great on CBDs, and it just makes me wonder. I add in that one more thing,
Yeah.
you know,
To get it
Try
seen.
it. I encourage it. And maybe what could be really fun, because we don't actually have a lot of company-wide transformation stories of animals. Oh, I would love to see some of that happening. Like, here was my cat day one of Epigenius cats, and here's what I've noticed 30-day laters, and making fun reels. And so you never know. Again, it's so much bigger than you. And you never know, you may be the person to bring that trend to the company. And you never know, in 5 years, all of a sudden, you've been the team that's helped 15,000 people create life cat dog transformations. So
any idea to the horse stuff coming out? Hey, I'm throwing it out
I
there.
I have not heard of that. There are some products like Super Xanthan. I actually work with a horse farm here, and they use it. They pour it on their horse food to help with the sunburn and stuff. So not all of the products translate to animals. Like that's definitely not my specialty, but there are certain products that can be incorporated, and that just kind of takes research and education on your own too.
Thank you so much, Mary Beth. That's so helpful.
Yeah, totally. Thanks for sharing that.
I have a question. Um, you mentioned like how many conversations you sparked up at the grocery store, and although I'm still doing pickup orders because I don't like going in the grocery store, today we were at the park, me and Jordan and a couple other friends, and a woman happened to ask Jordan about, things for toddlers to do around town, and like we joked when she walked away. She was like, I almost asked her what she was doing for nutritional. Like it was funny. We laughed about it, but we did sit there and speculate, like, how would we have brought it up? So since you brought it up, it would you mind?
Yeah, well, one thing I would say is because you guys, like I know Nicole just hosted that kid-friendly superfood social. So that would be maybe a way that I would incorporate of like, yeah, we're chatting ideas of what to do with toddlers. And, my friend and I, we're actually we partner in this nutrition company and we've been kind of doing these fun like kid-friendly superfood socials and we haven't ventured into the toddler age yet, but like that's kind of giving me an idea of maybe that could be another thing that we could do. Like would that be something you would be interested in attending? And just like getting curious. Again, it's all about getting curious, asking questions, and just, finding that aligned passion. And then how could I maybe interweave that into the conversation? Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Sorry, I muted myself.
Yeah,
It
or
was
just
really loud
saying
here.
something along the lines of like, I don't know if this is of interest to you, but my friend and I, we're really passionate about children's health, and we've noticed that there's not that many resources in our town for education with children health, and that's something that we're really passionate about is creating events and creating education and opportunities for families to connect in that way. I'm curious if we ever did something like that. Would you want to know about it or
Oh,
just
I
start
like that.
planting the seed, get her contact, and then, you get her
I
contact,
think
and then,
Jordan did get that much in. I think we're Facebook friends
yeah, or
before we
follow on
left.
social media. And then the follow-up is like the initial meet isn't necessarily divulging everything Purium. The initial meet is the first point of contact, right? The first opening the door, planting the seeds. So then in the follow-up, Jordan, you could maybe text that friend and just say, hey, you know what? I just wanted to reach out and say, like, it was really nice to meet you the other day and I enjoyed our conversation. And maybe we can get to know each other more by following each other here on social media. And please let me know when you're doing another, kid meetup and just nurturing the relationship. And then if you are friends with people on social media, they're going to start seeing the content that you're putting out. And all of a sudden, this is another exposure for them because even though you're not maybe talking directly about that, they're now seeing what you're talking about and sharing about. And so it's all about building relationship and just being open to the process and the unfoldment and getting curious.
Yeah, she ended up messaging me before I even left the parking lot. And she's like,
Ah,
I'm so glad that we connected. So we are getting together next week. Um, but my question, I guess, kind of spinning off from Justine, like, okay, so you said that's like the first point of contact. So like if you're at the grocery store, like could you go through, I mean, I know scenarios could go in 1,000 different directions, but like what is a generic something that you typically start the conversation off with and how does it, can you like kind of role play that out for us?
Yeah, I actually almost have every single one of the checkers at our grocery store on Purium now because they check me out. They see me there all the time and they're just like, gosh, you buy a lot of organic food. I love how healthy you eat. And I'm like, yeah, I have an organic superfood business. It's really important to me. And they're like, oh, is it stuff that's on products in our store? And I'm like, no, we're not conventional that way. And then I just kind of start sharing. And you wouldn't believe how many of the checkers they work at a natural food store where there's tons of stuff on the shelves and they're like, man, I'd like to see more. So what I'll do is I'll typically add them to the lead capture. I'll say, oh yeah, that's great. I'll hand them my phone while I'm checking out and I'll hand them the newsletter lead capture. And then I say, if you put your info in there, you'll get a few emails about our company and learn a little bit more about it. And so then I get their lead capture and then I see them very frequently, right? So then I can either say, now I have their email or I can see them at the grocery store and just say, like, have you had a chance to check that out yet? And it's that rapport through seeing them over and over again. And then I've actually started a few conversations. None of them have come to fruition yet, but with a few of the checkers in terms of creating another stream of income because obviously they're passionate about health. They're working at an organic market. And I recognize that, every time I bring my bill up for my big family, everyone's like, man, you have a big bill. How do you afford this? And I'm like, well, my superfood business, And so I've actually started some good conversations with the checkers about an additional stream of income to support them and learning more about what they love, which is healthy food. So that's one example. Other examples of grocery store conversations I've started is I'll just be in line and I'll notice someone has something similar in the cart as me. And I'll be like, oh, I love that brand of hummus too. Like, I also see that you eat that. Like, I think I've seen you around here a couple times. Like, do you live around here? And I immediately try to find points of connection And again, I'll either try to leave the store with their contact so I can follow up with them, and just build a relationship. Like for me, I'm not right out of the gate just trying to, sell someone a ULT right in the grocery store line. Like that's never yet happened to me. Maybe it will. But it's more about planting a lot of seeds, building a lot of relationship, holding that high intention so that I'm in that rhythm of three because of how many conversations I have started all the time. Does that make sense? And how many new relationships I'm creating. And I just really try to connect with people on points of interest. And that helps the conversation get deep quicker without a lot of the like fluff and the, kind of surface level conversation that doesn't feel like it's going anywhere, if you will. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you. I appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
I have some ideas. So I saw Tracy in her next level goal jumper, and she had her list of things to do. And one of the suggestions was know what you're going to say when somebody asks what you're up to, and know your like Purium response. And I thought, wow, that's really good. So could you give us some feedback on that?
So give me a scenario of where someone would say that to me.
Okay. Yeah, somebody, we work at the marina. We have 1% mention Purium at the marina that we work at still. And the one person we did mention it to actually is on a ULT too. So that's funny. But nonetheless, people are always asking us what we're up to. And we're like, oh, we're good. We're going out on the trip. And we just kind of like bypass because we're focused on that part of that work. And so that's one example that people are asking us all the time, how we are, what we're up to.
So I think it sometimes, because sometimes you don't always want your response to be like, oh, I'm up to my superfood business, you know, which you are. But I just like to say broad statements. Sometimes I'll be like, if someone asks me what I'm up to, I'll always be like, oh, just working towards that financial or that family sovereignty every day. Like I'll just say something kind of bizarre and out of the picture that encapsulates the conversations I want to have. So it depends on the scenario, but sometimes I'll just say like a bold statement that's like that makes people be like, what the heck is she talking about? Like what? And if it resonates with them, they'll lean in, right? Or sometimes I'll say like a lot of times when I'm out and about, I did just get off of a work call, like because I do my business all the time wherever I am, right? So if people are like, I'm at the park with someone and they're like, what are you up to? I'm like, oh, I'm just finishing up a call with my superfood community. I'll be done in a second. I'd love to connect. So I figure out some way to kind of just like tag it in there, and they may or may not hear it, but if they hear it, multiple times, or if it is a word or a phrase or something that's interesting to them, they'll lean in. And those are the kind of people I'm really looking to partner with. And then of course continue to create relationships where people may not have a clue what a superfood means, and then they'll be like, well, what's a superfood? And that's a great conversation to have too, right? So I wouldn't say I have like a set phrase of what I say when people say, what are you up to? But I have a general theme of kind of always mentioning something I'm really passionate about that I'm working towards and seeing if it resonates. Does that make sense?
Yes. And then another thing, so for our diamond run, I felt like the real key for us was duplication and really leaning into that. And it took me years to realize what that meant personally. And I know that that's not the case now for our team. So I'm excited for that possibility. And it was really, I think, convention that kind of shifted that for us and was like, oh, we can duplicate this. James saw so many people of all walks of life, from like, the truck driver to the, mom who had a highly autistic teenager to, people with children. Mary Beth's up on the stage with her kids hanging all over, and, single couples out there rocking it, and realtors, and just the whole thing. That it was really inspiring to like, oh, if we just duplicate what Mary Beth was saying, this could be us too. And then sure enough, that has been the success. And so I don't know if you want to speak on that at all. I know you did a whole training on that, so we can share that in our team group too, just to make sure that everybody has that call, because it was so incredible. But that was a really big piece to that run.
Yeah. Yeah, and duplication really is the name of the game, and that's where leverage comes in. So this is a leveraged business model. So it's not like a normal brick and mortar or maybe another solo entrepreneur adventure you've been on in terms of you feel like you have to know it all, be it all, wear all the hats and everything. What we get to do here is we get to leverage each other's skill, knowledge, experience, time, and that helps us build something part-time that can create ample freedom because of the leverage. If you have 5 people on your team putting 5 hours into the business a week, well, now all of a sudden that's including yourself, that's 30 hours a week towards a business. And right, it's all about many hands makes light work. And what makes leverage happen is this duplication. And it took me years to figure out what duplication was. I even had to like look in a dictionary, like, what the heck does that word mean? And it's basically the idea of the reason this model works is there's a system. And plugging into the systems and getting your people to plug into systems and their people is key for duplicating success and residual income for the entire team. And so some of the systems we have is rhythm of three, getting in that. If you get in it and you teach someone and they teach someone and they teach someone, there's momentum being built and there's a rhythm being built. Some other duplication is connect calls. When you have interested people, getting those people on a call to learn more about the transformation and or the business and learn from that third party validation because on the connect call, not only are they learning, but you're learning. And that's another leverage. Connect call is leverage. Transformation now is a type of duplication. Attending the Zooms and listening to what the leaders are saying, you'll notice that, you know, what's the phrase? Success shows tips or whatever. Like you'll notice the leaders are saying very similar things because duplication is actually about simplifying the processes and the systems so that anyone and everyone can follow it. I love what Carolina even says. She'll say, like, you know, dumb it down. I don't know if that's the most appropriate word, but to where your 90-year-old grandmother could figure it out as well, no matter their technological abilities or their mental cognition or whatever. Like they could understand it at some level. So I think there's a point in this business where sometimes we want to overcomplicate and we feel like, oh, I need to reinvent the wheel. But the key comes into learning the simple systems of duplication, plugging into them, and then learning how to teach other people those same simple systems that are helping you create success, that'll then help them create success. And then within the system, you have kind of free creative reign in terms of how you're messaging it, in terms of what you're really passionate about, how you're sharing your story. Another piece of duplication, sharing stories. Rather than just throwing a whole bunch of information at people, what kind of stories can you share that really bring relatability, emotional connection, understanding? And so, as the more calls you attend, the more you listen to what your upline and your upline team is telling you to do, although it may feel out of your comfort zone, it may feel some. I remember I was probably really hard to coach in the beginning because I'd be like, well, I'm not doing it that way, I'm doing it my way. Like, but I'd never been part of this model, so I didn't get it. And then when I started realizing, like, oh, I see that they keep doing that and that's working. Like maybe I should try that. And then all of a sudden it starts working. And James and Nicole, I'll be completely honest, like when your business started to take off was exactly when you started plugging into duplication and learning how to share the duplication with other. So the simplest things to get plugged into in terms of duplication out of the gate is the rhythm of three and starting to learn how to speak about that, the languaging around that, running with the 90-day transformation, and the cat and dog add-ons. And then connect calls, the biggest piece of leverage. When I started this business, I was a single mom working 4 jobs, and there was no way I thought I could fit another thing in. And the reason I was able to hit those fast start bonuses is I literally, my mentor, she's like, Mary, I see that you have big goals. And my mentor was actually someone, she was a mother who, when she started, was on welfare as well. We had a very similar story. And in 5 years, she created $1 million business for her and her family. And I was like, well, I don't know what you're doing, but I want to do what you did. Like, I don't have any time, but how do I do it? And she just said to me, the biggest piece of advice was, Mary, bring me one connect call a day for a month. whether it's product related or business related. And I promise you, you are going to learn more on those calls and you're going to start building momentum quicker in your business than you could ever learn trying to find all the research yourself or trying to learn it all so you can share it. Like, just come, just learn, just connect your people to me. I promise you, I'll take care of them. And you'll get to see the language that's being duplicated. You'll get to see the rhythms that are being duplicated. And it was honestly, I didn't get a connect call a day, but I think I brought her about four a week for my first month. And that was hands down the reason I hit Diamond in 4 months. Because the duplication caught on really quick because I just was like, oh, say what she said. Oh, I remember her saying that, do what she did. And oh, teach the next person to do that same thing. And all of a sudden, it starts to take off. And that's how I can have a team of 15,000 people. By no means have I supported every single one of those people, right? I haven't done a connect call with every one of those people, but every one of those people has more or less been on a connect call with someone, right? And every one of those people has benefited from either a training or a verbiage or something that I passed down that was passed down to me, and it continues to live on. And that's the key to this business model in terms of tapping into the residual aspect and the growth of team happening without even your foot necessarily needing to be right in there kicking the ball with them. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I love that. I love it because it really brings it to that generational energy, that pay it forward energy. It's like that ancestral way of storytelling and passing down the good things to the next generation. And that's what we're here for. So,
Yeah,
Mhm.
just referring to it as a lineage, like really, like, we're all here for everybody under us, and then, doing those connect calls, bringing people in. Don't never feel like one thing we never felt like Mary Beth was ever bothered, and we're gonna try to do our best to portray that, like we're here all the time. You're never gonna bother us. Like we
yeah.
want to duplicate, and we don't know it all, and you might not have an answer, but we got support. We have that lineage that Mary Beth doesn't know. She's going to ask someone else, and we're going to get the answers. And yeah, you don't have to be an expert at it. It's we're there for each other. So
Yeah.
that's a great
And
duplication.
one thing that I'll say is really powerful about duplication is it helps you get into a leader mindset quicker. Because when you start tapping into duplication, everything duplicates, whether it's intentional or unintentional, good or bad. So you can have positive energy and excitement that duplicates. You can have negativity and blah, blah, blah that duplicates, right? And so when you start to tap into duplication and recognize everything duplicates, and what do you truly want to be duplicating and portraying for the good of others, all of a sudden you're stepping into this new level of leadership, maybe before you even realize it, of you're thinking more from a bird's eye view of what can help many versus what can just help one. And there may be the influencer that comes in and, they're able to do just share their affiliate card and not build any relationship and they make a bunch of sales because they're, that kind of, they already have that network and they're an influencer. But is that going to duplicate for the many? And for me, when I've been building my team, as I'm focused on, yeah, let's help, that influencer and maybe that person with a really large network or this, that, or the other be successful for sure. But what I love to do is I love to help the just any person. Like I always tell people, if I can do this, anyone can do this because I am not like, I don't have special accolades. I don't, I'm just here learning a system. And my goal is to help people that are just here to learn the system, no matter what their background is, no matter where they come from, no matter what their skill set is, but to be able to flourish here. And that's where duplication becomes really important because it's about the many versus the one. And that's how you create more impact. Does that make sense?
Yes. Renee, do you have any questions? Or Abby, did you want to ask anything? Otherwise, I thought a little message on expansion could be because a part of this growth, also getting to diamond and all the different ranks and that leadership that you're speaking of. And it does come with that level of like, oh, you got to breathe and like expand yourself out because there's a part for us that was like, "Arr," and still maybe right every growth, we're going to go through it now too.
Yeah.
Maybe if no one else has questions, maybe you can comment on that.
Yeah, for me, this business has all about been expanding, no matter what rank I've been at. Even as a leader in a company and a fab member who speaks on stage, like I'm constantly expanding and challenged. And confronted with things I don't want to do, or I don't think I can do that, or, you know. And so for me, I've really thought about what I want to create in my life. And the frequency I want to create in my life is expansion and abundance and love and joy. And I recognize in my business the times when I'm operating from constriction. And it might just be a pattern, it might be a habit, it might be a mindset, it might be a consciousness that I've adopted from generations. And so becoming very self-aware of when I'm operating or responding or reacting or communicating from a space of constriction versus expansion. And so I really evaluate myself and my business on a daily basis of like, if I get a response that feels triggering or like, oh no, I can't believe they said that, versus like responding right away from like a fear or like, oh, I don't want them to not like me or that's not what I meant. Like I take a moment to recognize like, okay, what would a response from expansion feel like versus maybe a comfortable or quick response from constriction or restriction. So I'm constantly evaluating that for myself. And even when I feel like I've expanded, there's many times in my business where I'm like, I don't even know if I have the capacity for the next rank, but like, is that in alignment with what I want? Absolutely. So am I going to find the capacity to create more? Absolutely. Because in doing that, I'm doing that for other people and showing the way. And so it's this constant, you know, you are so capable. Each and every one of you is so, so capable. And this business is an opportunity to really step into that capability and expand that capability and be the role model for others. So just asking myself that simple question, am I reaching out from constriction or expansion? Am I responding from constriction or expansion? You know, and then if I find myself in constriction, that's when I go back to my why, because immediately my why gets me back into expansion. If I find myself in a conversation that feels a little bit constrictive, I think about, well, how can I get this back into expansion? It's usually by asking them about their why and learning more about them and expanding to learn more about them, you know, rather than what I can just see. So, and there's many times in this business where we have to lean into the uncomfortability. I'm not saying that it's easy all the time or it should feel like joyful 100% of the time or graceful 100% of the time. Absolutely, that's the goal, but we're just human and we're learning. And so, a lot of the times that I've found the most expansion available to me in this business is when I feel the most uncomfortable. And the times that I want to say no, like the mini marathon, for instance, you can drop a one if you felt a little resistance to that and drop a two if you did it anyway, right? It's the leaning into the resistance and leaning into the times when you want to say no. And then sometimes I'll say, well, I want to say no, but what if I said yes? Just what if? And then I start to kind of ponder and get curious of like, well, what if I said yes to the mini marathon and like 20 of those conversations evolved into some like incredible referral that I had no idea would happen. Like, what if? So, anytime I find myself in that state of like, no, this is uncomfortable, I don't wanna, I take the opportunity to kind of reshift and say, well, what if I said yes? And sometimes it's very clear to me that that yes is not the direction I want to go into. And sometimes it's very clear to me that that yes is exactly where I want to go. And I need to lean into the uncomfortability and I need to get more training. If I'm feeling uncomfortable or resistance, that's a time to reach up to your upline and say, I'm feeling like I don't want to do this, or I'm feeling some resistance around this, or, you know, and I'm reaching out because I want to see if you've ever moved through this, or maybe you have a perspective for me that could help me shift because, you know, I think I can move through this, but I'm not totally sure. So that's why we have a team. So just that's where the personal development and the self-reflection comes in is what if I said yes? Or what if I leaned in? Or what would be expansive in this moment versus constrictive? And that's actually when we really start repatterning habits and mindsets and consciousnesses that aren't serving us anymore. It requires us to stop in the moment to recognize what's potentially not serving us. And a lot of times it can be us being in our own way of not saying yes or not leaning in or not willing to get uncomfortable because true growth happens in uncomfortability. And for sure, enjoy the comfort, enjoy all that. And what if you leaned in a little more? Does that make sense?
Yeah, and absolutely. every time we have leaned in, because we've been, we've all been through uncomfortable situations. And every time with Purium, it's kind of like putting yourself on that parasite cleanse or any plant medicine cleanse that you kind of put yourself through that purge and like you're going to come out better on the other side. Every time we've gone through those transformations in Purium was like going to convention even was like James was like no way could we afford to take our family of five to Arizona to go lay at a pool. Like I'm not doing that, Nicole. I'm going to work, right? Like it was not what he was doing. And what if came in and Mary Beth saying, I really want to see you guys. And, all the things of like, okay. And all of a sudden we're there, right? And the same thing with Diamond Club. We even hit Diamond. And 2 weeks later was the Diamond Club date. And it was James's birthday. And we were like, okay, we hit Diamond. Phew, that was such a rush. And we were like, no way, we're going to California in 2 weeks. Like, just no way. I don't have the capacity for that. Like, I cannot. And then, well, Mary Beth, well, what if? Like, what if you guys came and then all of a sudden we're there, and now we're like so pumped up and ready. And James said it was the best birthday he ever had. He's had a lot of birthdays and
A lot.
That's really great to hear, James.
so it's like every time with Purium that we've gone through that, uncomfortable, like, I don't know if I can. And I'm so grateful, Mary Beth, for you always hearing our verbal vomiting of fears that may come out of all the whining that we do sometimes. Like that we can't do it. And she always holds space knowing that we can. And we do. So
Yeah, and growth is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
So it's like it can just be that little safe, in the shell or the little seed that never comes out of the dirt. But it's like, yeah, it's gonna be uncomfortable, but that's where the growth comes, and that's where the opportunity that you could never imagine otherwise. So
And the beauty of what we have here that's different than maybe times you've moved through uncomfortability or fears or resistance in your life is that you do not have to do it alone here.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of the team and the support and the accountability. So even though it may feel like, well, I've done that in the past and it didn't work out so well for me. Well, did you have the support and the community to uphold you and uplift you and hold you as capable? Because that's really a big part of what we're doing. And when you bring on teammates, it's about holding space for people and what they're capable of. And in doing that, you're holding more space for yourself. And so it's such a beautiful journey if you just lean in. I can't even put it into words, but I will say, I see you, Cheryl. One sec. I will say, if Diamond Club is coming up, we're going to have a Diamond Club this spring. There's additional bonuses on the table. If there's even a slight piece of you that's like, well, I want to be there. I want to meet these leaders. I want to meet Amy and Dave. I want to make some money. I'm feeling nervous. I don't know how, but like, if there's the slightest bit of you that wants that, I encourage you to reach out to your upline and just say, I want to chat about like what Diamond could look like for me, and just plant the seed, get curious. Because Diamond Club was absolutely the pivotal moment for me that shifted the entire trajectory of my business, and recognizing like, oh, this isn't just some side hustle. This is something I could create some serious impact with. And then convention as well. If you're feeling the inclination of like, I just think I should buy the ticket for 360 because they're on sale right now. Like that feels like a big jump. I don't even know what my plans are in July. I would encourage you to just lean into the jump, and you'll figure out all the details. But it's really about making that clear decision and listening to your gut, and then figuring it out along the way, because you have a team to support you to figure it out. You don't have to just figure it out by yourself. So, Cheryl, did you have a quick comment?
I did. And as I'm sitting here having fully read it, my sister just says, Hey, I'm glad you're liking the product. Would you be willing to order and send me something of the coffee protein powder? Now, I'm not even familiar with that product whatsoever. So obviously, I'll give her my code and have her go in. And I'm just like, this is just randomly brought up last Saturday. And I just want to mention that I guess this is how it works. She just texted me today and wants a particular product. So,
Yeah. So, Cheryl, I would also encourage you to respond with curiosity too, of like, oh, that's so great. What is it about the coffee protein that you're so interested in? And then that way you can learn from her what she knows. And then you can even say, that's a product I haven't even explored yet. And then also leaning in on asking, what are some of her goals? Because sometimes people only know what they know. Their goal is just to get a little more energy in the morning. But did they know if you brought her to a Connect call, they could learn about how our programs really support adrenal health, and that's way more sustainable energy. And we actually have other products that are phenomenal for energy too. And so sometimes just getting curious and asking people leads to opening the door to more potential for them and more alignment for them as you're learning. Does that make
Oh,
sense?
absolutely. And, as I say that, I mean, she's been in the healthcare business and body care. I mean, she'll get up and do, 30, 40 miles on the bicycle in the morning.
Right
Like, I
on.
mean, she had lost over 100 pounds in the past, and dealing with things. And, you know, um, it's just, she saw the excitement. We do a family Zoom. Again, all the people that seem to be contacting me are not even in the state. So it's kind of
Yeah.
cool that, you know, it's just going to have little branches all over the place. So I'm
Yeah,
excited about
and
it.
then maybe even something like, yeah, for sure. I'd love to send you info on that. I'd love to know, what draws you to that product in particular. And have you had a chance to check out any of the athletic line that we have? Because I know that's something you're really passionate about, and I'd love to support you in that if you want to look into that too. Just again, getting curious, proposing questions. People can say yes or no, and you're just putting it out there. Mhm.
Well, thank you so much for your time, everyone. And Mary Beth, I know it's 7. We have our training with Leslie Zahn
Leslie,
next,
that's
which
right.
I do not want to miss because she is amazing fire. But I'm really grateful for this, Mary Beth. I feel so, yeah, just a harmony that's happened for us to all kind of be on the same page of all the wisdom, so much wisdom that you pass on to us that you get to pass on to all of these amazing ladies. And I know Rick's back there somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Thank
thank
you
you
so much,
guys.
Mary Beth.
Yeah, thank you for spending 90 minutes with me. And yeah, let's go get some Leslie Fire and just go for it, y'all. Like, this is the time. We are in transformation season. So much is possible for each and every one of you. So let's just join hands, lock arms, and let's just make it happen for each other. So thanks so much.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you all for
Aloha.
coming.
Thank you,
Thank
everybody.
you, Mary
Bye.
Beth.
Love you. See you on the next
Bye.
one.